It's November 22nd, 2023, and I've made a huge mistake. This is me practically running to my train about 2 minutes prior to its departure. I was the last one on board as boarding had already started at Brightline's Orlando station. It's Thanksgiving, which means Orlando station and the accompanying Orlando airport are extremely busy. I parked in the off-site lot and the shuttle took too long to get me to the train. All ended well, as this is me boarding the train just before departure. Today we're riding on Brightline between Orlando and Miami just 2 months after the Orlando station and the Orlando section of the line had opened. This will be a great opportunity to see if the service is just as good as day one and to see if Orlando residents are beginning to use the service. Brightline's Orlando section opened on September 22nd, 2023 to much fanfare. There were a ton of people riding, but most of them were riding just for the novelty of the service, or they were reporters. Our train, running as Brightline BLF 721, departs southbound to Miami right on time. This Brightline set was wrapped in an advertisement for the city of Kissimmee, which is just south of Orlando. This meant that there was this dot matrix over the windows, which made filming kinda difficult. Just like opening day, the journey starts slow for the first 10 minutes as the train leaves the Orlando airport. The section between Orlando and Cocoa is all new trackage, meaning it's rated to 125 miles an hour. This train will get pretty close to that on its way to Cocoa, where afterwards it will be limited to 90 miles per hour. After the section between Orlando and Cocoa, the train joins the Florida East Coast Main Line southbound to Miami. This entire section of track was upgraded, with crossings upgraded, as well as the entire section being double tracked. About an hour and a half to 2 hours into the ride, the train slows down for the town of Stewart, where we cross one of the only single track remaining sections in the line. This is the Stewart Drawbridge. After Stewart, the train picks up speed for about another hour until it reaches West Palm Beach. Our train makes the station stop in West Palm Beach on time and continues south to Fort Lauderdale. West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale were the two opening original stations for the Brightline system. Originally, Brightline trains would make the trip between Orlando and West Palm Beach in about an hour, and that was the entire line until the Miami Central station opened a couple months later. I want to take a moment to shout out some of the customer service on Brightline. The crew to and from Miami was extremely friendly both ways. The crew even made a couple jokes along the way. On the trip south to Miami, the crew made the joke, "What does a janitor say when he jumps out of the closet?" Supplies! They also made another joke. "What kind of music do elves listen to?" Rap music. I found the personal touch to be kind of funny, and the crew was having a good time the whole way down to Miami.
Welcome to Miami. Thank you for riding Brightline. Have a bright day.
We pulled into Miami Station pretty much on time. The entire trip pretty uneventful and comfortable. Leaving the train, we get a pretty good look at the Siemens charger unit and all of those great-looking Brightline chairs. The Brightline train sets have aged really well. They actually got new seats sometime between 2018 and 2023 when they were running just between Miami and West Palm Beach. Brightline also names each of its train sets by the paint color that it's painted in. This one's wrapped, so we couldn't see the outside, but this one is called Bright Red. At Miami Station, we get a better look at the wrap on the outside of this train for the city of Kissimmee. There's also one for the city of Orlando. On the other side of the platform, there's a wrap for the city of Palm Beaches. I understand that Brightline probably gets a ton of money for doing these wraps, but it does mess with the customer experience as the view out the window is severely impacted, which is a real shame because these Siemens charger cars have huge, awesome windows that you can look out at the Florida scenery through. It's a real shame that they cover them up with these advertisements. Coming down to the second floor, we exit the Brightline station and go down into the concourse of Miami Central Station. The escalators to the left will eventually serve Tri-Rail. After the recording of this video, Tri-Rail did begin service into the Miami downtown area. My trip down was pretty uneventful, and I would say very comparable to my first day experience. But now it's time to reverse the trip and head back to Orlando. And it's now November 26th, 2023, and we're heading back northbound to Orlando on Brightline. This time I arrived to Miami with plenty of time to sit at the station and chill before my train. No running for it like I did in Orlando. In some of my much older videos, I've taken videos of all the different shops on the second floor of Miami Central Station. It seems like a lot of them have closed down, not really sure why, but it totally could be because a lot of the people wait within the Brightline station and don't really frequent the restaurants inside. The Miami Central Station has taken on a number of colors and renovations throughout the years. Every time I come, something has changed. From the red of the Virgin trains to the current state now, there's been a lot of changes in the Miami Central Station as Brightline has learned better ways to please its customers. Train service has since increased to an hourly service. Brightline initially launched the Orlando service as a once every 2-hour service, which is already pretty generous compared to other trains in the United States. Brightline has since increased that to once every hour service to Orlando, which is pretty awesome when you compare it to all other long-distance trains in the United States. Relevant to note that the market that used to be self-checkout is no longer so, as there's now an attendant that checks you out just like any other shop. This has changed as Miami used to be the only station with that feature. This time, we get the train with the Orlando wrap with the Palm Beaches wrap on the other platform. The wraps look pretty cool, but my complaint still remains that it blocks the visibility out the window for the passengers inside and degrades the passenger experience. One of my few gripes with Brightline. We'll be in seat 4D, which is a window seat. Brightline has two classes of service. Its standard class is called Smart, while its premium service is called Select. This return train would be extremely full. Pretty much every seat was taken at some point, but between West Palm Beach and Orlando, the train was about 70% full. The seat has a number of amenities, including 4 power outlets, 4 USB outlets, a light, a sunshade, a basket in the front with a safety information card and a menu, and a small and large tray table.
Emergency exit information booklet located in the seat back pocket in front of you. Thank you for choosing Brightline and enjoy the ride.
We pull out of Miami Central Station right on time. I've actually never been on a Brightline train that was more than maybe 5 to 10 minutes delayed. Brightline's punctuality, at least to what I've seen, has been pretty good, especially when compared to Amtrak. Our train picks up speed as it passes under the runways at the Fort Lauderdale International Airport. Our northbound train is running as BLF 726, and we pass a number of other Brightline trains on the way up to Orlando. The dot matrix blocks most of my view on the way back, but this is the sunset as we enter Cocoa in the last hour of the ride. In most Brightline videos, I've mentioned some of my criticisms, my first being this wrap, and my second being the lack of a cafe car. After riding a lot of Amtrak's medium-distance services in California, I found that the cafe car was a really great addition to trips this long. I wish that Brightline would add a cafe car to their trains, despite the cost, because it would really improve customer experience, especially for trips this long. The catering cart that rolls by doesn't roll by frequently enough, so you're forced to make a decision, and if you change your mind later, it's too late. You can't get anything else. Despite my two complaints, Brightline's service probably still ranks as the best in the country. The seats and the interior of the train are leagues ahead of anything else in the country. There is not a single train, not on Amtrak, not on any other network, that is better than Brightline in the United States. Actually, after traveling in Europe, this train beats out a lot of the services in Europe as well. I really cannot say enough good things about how Brightline has configured these trains, minus the cafe car. I'd like to confirm that Brightline service is still as good as day one on the Brightline system, still as good as day one on the Miami opening day, and still as good as day one on the Orlando opening day as well. Service really hasn't changed much, and Brightline is doing an amazing job. I want to also acknowledge that the trip was full. It was pretty much packed the entire way. Brightline has done an awesome job at filling the seats and making the service successful. I can't say enough good things about it, and I really hope that we see this in more parts of the country, because the United States definitely needs this level of service. We end our journey at the brand new Orlando station in Orlando, Florida, connected to the Orlando International Airport. The station is 2 months old as of the recording of this video and looks brand new. Thanks for watching my trip between Orlando and Miami. As prices begin to come down, we'll definitely begin to see more people begin to utilize this service. The service was already packed despite the higher prices when compared to other passenger trains around the country. I have a number of other trip reports from Europe and places in California coming just like this. If you'd like to see those videos, make sure to subscribe to be informed of when I post them. Thanks for watching.